Hey, first grade. Last time we were here, we added snow to our icy winter monochromatic trees. Now, today what we can do is add a little bit more detail. I know I said our paintings are monochromatic. That means one color. So we really just used blue, dark blue, light blue, and white. But now we can add a little bit of some other colors just to make it a little bit more exciting. So you can use chalk. Chalk goes in this wooden container at the art store, or you can use colored pencils. Now, to do little details like your snowman's face, you're going to want to use colored pencils. But to add a little bit of extra color, you could blend with chalk. We learned that chalk is chalky, like in the chalk or in the sidewalk chalk you use outside. So when you use chalk, let's use this light blue. You can kind of put some color on, maybe in the sky, and then you can use your finger to blend it, which is kind of fun. So it doesn't change your paper a whole lot, but it makes it kind of interesting. So you could add some different colors into the sky. Like, let's see what happens when I add maybe a little bit of pink around in the sky. Just gonna rub a little bit on. Then use my finger to blend it. That's kind of exciting. I could even do that with yellow, maybe over here. And blend. I could maybe add some green. This is just a fun thing that you can try if you would like to. If you don't want to use chalk today, don't worry about it. The other thing we can use is our colored pencils. I'm going to put these chalks back at the art store. Remember, be careful. Sometimes you might find, like I just saw that this was in with the chalk. This is actually oil pastel. So if it doesn't feel chalky like sidewalk chalk, it's probably oil pastel. And you should put that back with the oil pastel so we don't get confused. Okay, so one thing you can do is we know that trees have bark, and bark has texture. So if you were to touch a tree, you would feel the rough bark on the outside. So to show the bark, you can draw some swirly, squiggly lines on your tree using a colored pencil, which is kind of fun. Sometimes you might see a hole in a tree, like a knot in a tree, and your bark will go around it. You could even see like sometimes a bird in there or a squirrel. So depending on how much time you have, you could really get creative adding things onto your tree. Okay, so that's an option. You could use maybe purple for that step as well. The next thing you can do is let's work on our snowman. Oh, I got this orange out and I can see this orange has a golden paintbrush. That means it's a special watercolor pencil. So you should give that to Mrs. Hedesheimer and use a different one. Here's a regular orange. I'm going to use my orange to make, I wonder if you can guess what this is. It's a carrot nose for my little snowman. So colored pencils are great for drawing little details that might be hard to see from far away. So now maybe I'll use a brown to make some eyes and mouth. Maybe I will give him a scarf. Let's use colors I got down here. How about this magenta? I can make a magenta scarf around his neck. I'll color that in. And sometimes scarves have the part that hangs down underneath. I can even draw details on top of another color. Like I might draw some stripes on top of my magenta scarf, or some stripes on my scarf, maybe some fringe at the bottom. Okay, I can also add something called a shadow. So we know that whenever you are outside and around light, or even inside around a lamp, you might have a shadow. So first I'm just adding a little hat, but now I'm going to add a shadow. So my shadow, a little bit bigger, is always underneath my snowman. So if I have a snowman or something else, I can add a shadow. Because the sun or the moon is shining down, I know the shadow is going to go underneath. So I can just make it a little bit darker with a black, but shadows don't have to be black. Shadows can be any color. I could even do this with blue if I wanted to. And I'm just going to kind of make a little blob underneath my snowman for my snowman's shadow. If I want to be fancy, I might have a little shadow underneath one bowl of his body or underneath his scarf too. So that just makes it a little bit more realistic that way. I could also add a shadow in my footsteps. Just on the edge of my footsteps might be a shadow. And I have all these snowballs ready for a snowball fight that might need a shadow too. So I'll just go underneath my little snowballs, make a little blob for a shadow. Now I just want to make sure that my shadow is touching the edge. That's how it looks really realistic. I could also draw some other things. Like if you didn't paint footsteps in the snow, you could draw some footsteps in the snow with a white colored pencil. So here's some more going in a different direction. Maybe these are little like deer footprints in the snow. They're a little smaller than these bigger ones. Okay, I can go around. Maybe my snowman needs some arms. And this is where my creativity really comes in. What things can make my art a little bit more interesting? I don't want to take away from my beautiful icy winter tree, but I'm just adding some little things here and there to make it more interesting. Maybe I have, I don't know if you know this, but cardinals are those red birds you might see, and they love the winter time in the snow. So whenever it snows, I bet if you look closely outside, you might end up seeing a cardinal. So I know a cardinal is red, so I'm going to make a red shape that might look a little bit like a bird, and then give them a little bit of a yellow beak. Now it's hard to see, but that's okay. This is just a small detail on a big work of art. So go ahead, guys, have fun with this. Just add a little bit of color just to make it more interesting and really see what little details you can make the viewers or the people who look at your art try to find. It's almost like I Spy. Make people have to look at your art and notice all the little details that you add with your colored pencils or chalk. All right, guys, I hope you have so much fun, and I cannot wait to see what you come up with. See ya.